Hey everyone, welcome back to Real World English, the podcast where we talk about real life, real conversations, and real English. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Fred. And today we have a topic that I personally feel very, very strongly about.
Oh yeah? You haven't even let me say what it is yet.
I know. Go ahead.
Okay, so today we're talking about the moment in life when you just stop apologizing for who you are. Like, fully. You stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable.
Yes. That is exactly the kind of thing I needed to hear when I was like 22 years old and just trying to fit in everywhere.
Right? And for our listeners, a lot of you are learning English, and I think this topic actually connects to that experience too. Because learning a language can make you feel really exposed, you know? Like you're putting yourself out there and you're afraid of making mistakes.
Totally. So we're going to dig into that, the psychology of it, real personal stories, and, as always, some great English along the way.
Let's get into it. Okay, so Fred, let's start simple. When you hear the phrase, I no longer apologize for who I am, what comes to mind?
Honestly, freedom. Like, it sounds dramatic, but I genuinely think it's one of the most freeing feelings in the world. It's like you stop performing. You stop putting on a show for people.
I love that. You stop performing. So it's not just about literally saying sorry less. It's more about not feeling like you have to justify your existence to everyone around you.
Exactly. And by the way, for anyone who's learning English, Hannah just used the word justify, and that's a really useful word. To justify something means to give a reason or explanation for why something is okay or acceptable. So, if you're constantly justifying your choices to other people, you're always explaining, no, this is fine, here's why.
Right, and it's exhausting. I used to do this so much. Like, someone would ask me why I didn't drink at a party, and I'd give this whole long explanation instead of just, I just don't want to, thanks.
Oh my gosh, me too. I remember apologizing for being too quiet at social events. Like, sorry for existing in a calm way.
Right, which is ridiculous when you say it out loud. But in the moment, it feels so real, so necessary almost.
I think a lot of people, especially when they're younger, have this deep need to be accepted. And that fear of rejection, it makes you shrink yourself. Like you make yourself smaller to fit into spaces that weren't really built for you.
Ooh, I like that. You make yourself smaller. That image of shrinking, it's very visual, right? You physically imagine yourself getting smaller, quieter, less noticeable.
And at some point, and this is different for everyone, you just get tired of it. Like genuinely fed up. And something clicks.
Fed up is such a good phrase. If you're fed up with something, you're completely tired of it. You've had enough. Like, I am fed up with pretending to be someone I'm not.
So, Hannah, when was your turning point? Like, was there a specific moment?
Hmm. Yeah, actually, I think there was. I was at work. This was a few years ago. And I had an idea in a meeting. And instead of just saying it confidently, I started with, I'm sorry, this might be a bad idea, but... And my manager stopped me and said, Hannah, don't apologize before you even speak.
Wow, that's powerful.
And it hit me. Like, I was pre-apologizing. before I'd even said anything wrong. I was already assuming I needed to be forgiven.
Pre-apologizing. I love that term. Like you're apologizing in advance, before anything has even happened.
Exactly. And I realized I did it all the time. In emails, in conversations, in relationships. Sorry to bother you. Sorry if this is wrong. Sorry for taking up space. And it was like, who taught me to do this?
That's such a deep question. Because I think for a lot of people, especially women actually, there's this social conditioning where you're taught to be small, to be polite, to not be too much.
Yes, and I'm not saying politeness is bad. I love being warm and considerate. But there's a huge difference between being kind and constantly diminishing yourself.
Diminishing yourself. That means making yourself seem less important or less valuable than you actually are. And yeah, I think I went through something similar, but for different reasons. I grew up in a pretty tough neighborhood, and I used to apologize for being too academic, I guess. Like, I'd downplay how much I loved reading or learning because I didn't want to seem different.
Downplay. Ooh, that's a great one. To downplay something means to make it seem less significant than it really is. So you were hiding a real part of yourself.
Completely. And the weird thing is, no one actually asked me to do that. It was all in my head. I had created this idea that I needed to fit this certain mold.
A mold. Like a shape you're supposed to fit into. That's such a good image. And most of the time, that mold is invented, right? It's not even real.
It's completely made up. And that's kind of the liberating realization. The mold doesn't exist. You don't have to fit into it.
Okay, so let's talk about the after. Like, once you've had that turning point, what actually changes in your life?
So many things. First thing, your relationships change. The people who were only around because you were playing a role, they kind of drift away.
Drift away. Like they slowly disappear from your life. Without a big dramatic moment, they just go.
Yeah, and honestly, at first, that can feel scary. But then you realize the people who stay, they're the real ones. They actually like you, not the performance.
I felt that so much. When I started being more direct at work, not rude, but just honest, some people didn't love it. But the ones who respected it, those became my real professional relationships.
And I think confidence is contagious, actually. Like, and here's something for our English learners. There's a phrase, own it. If you own something about yourself, you accept it fully, and you're not ashamed of it. So own your weirdness, own your accent, own your style.
Yes, and speaking of accents, if you're learning English and you have an accent, please own it. Your accent is not a mistake. It's part of who you are. I love hearing all the different ways people speak English around the world.
100%. The goal isn't a perfect accent. The goal is to communicate clearly and confidently.
And you know what else changes? Your internal monologue shifts. That little voice in your head that used to say, "You're too much. You're not enough. What will they think?" It gets quieter.
It doesn't disappear completely, let's be honest. I still have moments of doubt. But you get better at recognizing when that voice is lying to you.
Right. And you start to catch yourself. Like, oh, I'm about to apologize for having an opinion. Nope, not today.
Not today. I love that. It's like a little internal act of resistance.
Exactly. And, for our listeners, The phrase internal monologue just means the ongoing conversation you have with yourself in your own head. Mono means one, so it's a one-person conversation. Your thoughts. Okay, I really want to get into this because I think it connects so directly to what a lot of our listeners are going through.
Yeah, please.
So, when you're learning a second language, or a third, or fourth, there's this incredibly vulnerable feeling of speaking and not being sure if it's right. And I think a lot of learners over-apologize in that context too. Like, sorry, my English isn't great, before they even start talking.
Oh, yes, I've seen this so much. And I think it's partly cultural, too. In some cultures, it's polite to be modest and downplay your skills. But in an English conversation, starting with a heavy apology can actually undermine you. It makes people take you less seriously before you've even said anything important.
And undermine is such a good word here. To undermine something means to weaken it, to make it less effective, almost like digging under the foundation of a building. So you're weakening your own credibility before you even start.
So, the advice I'd give, and I really mean this, is to lead with confidence, even if it's fake confidence at first. There's actually a phrase for that: fake it till you make it. You act confident until it becomes real.
And that applies to English learning so beautifully, right? Because every single fluent English speaker went through a stage of not being fluent. Every single one.
Exactly. No one was born speaking perfect English, not even native speakers. Have you heard some of the things people say?
I mean, true. And making mistakes is part of the process. When you make a mistake and you just keep going, that's called resilience. You bounce back quickly instead of falling apart.
And honestly, the most impressive English speakers I've met, they're not the ones with the most textbook perfect grammar. They're the ones who just speak with enthusiasm and don't let errors stop them.
Yes, they own their English. They're like, this is how I speak, and I'm communicating, and that's what matters.
And that is the same energy as no longer apologizing for who you are. It's the same mindset, just in a language context.
Perfectly said. Okay, I think that's a beautiful segue into our closing segment, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, this is our words and phrases segment, where we revisit some of the best language from today's episode. Fred, you want to kick us off?
Happy to. Okay, first one, to justify. We use this early on. To justify something means to give a reason for why it's acceptable or necessary. For example, I don't need to justify my career choices to my family. You don't have to explain or defend yourself.
Love it. Okay, number 2. Fed up. If you're fed up, you're completely done with something. You're exhausted by it, and you want it to stop. Like, I'm fed up with people who don't listen. It's a really natural conversational phrase. You'll hear it all the time in daily English.
Great one. Number 3, to downplay. When you downplay something, you make it seem less important than it is. Example, she always downplays her achievements. She's actually incredibly talented. So if someone says, "Oh, it's nothing," when they've done something amazing, they're downplaying it.
Okay, number 4 is my personal favorite from today. To own it. When you own something, you accept it fully, without shame. He made a mistake in the presentation, but he owned it. He acknowledged it and moved on. It's a very empowering phrase. Own your accent. Own your style. Own your story.
Ooh, love that. Number 5, to undermine. This means to gradually weaken something or someone. Constant self-criticism can undermine your confidence over time. It's like secretly weakening the foundation from below. Very visual word.
And our last one, resilience. This is a noun, and it means the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. Learning a new language takes resilience. You will make mistakes, but you keep going. Resilient is the adjective. She's incredibly resilient.
Such a good word to end on, honestly. Because everything we talked about today, stopping those apologies, owning your identity, speaking with confidence, all of it takes resilience.
It does, and the good news is, resilience grows. Every time you push through something uncomfortable, you build more of it. All right, that is a wrap for today's episode of Real World English.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.
And if you're on your English learning journey, keep going. You're doing better than you think. I genuinely believe that.
Same. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.